ready making no beats again.
Trenches. Come get some work on your free time. Nico Trenches, we train O-line and D-line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you kick at 45, keep your nose on his inside. You better punch something. Keep your...
And with the number one overall pick at the Bushleague Sports Show, we select me because ain't nobody else going to run this shithole. We are back for another week. Bushleague Sports, episode 58, NFL mock draft. Well, maybe my beautiful co-host would run the place. I don't know. Maybe he's the second overall pick. Will the second overall pick turn out better than the first? Who knows? Probably. The guy's an absolute phenom. But tonight we are going to get into the NHL playoffs. Dial you in on everything going on with there. Should Hellebuck be pulled like they're saying on Spit and Chicklets? That's insanity. Don't think so. But all kinds of good stuff going on there. Big comebacks in the making. Senators, are they going to stop the Leafs from getting through round one yet again? And then all kinds of shakeups in the NFL draft. Lots of guys going a little later than expected. Actually, quite a few guys I thought that would be drafted early that went undrafted and then were immediately picked up. So why wouldn't my Broncos draft a punter at some point? No point taking talent. You can draft a punter. That always makes sense. And then we're going to get into Saturday morning cards. We got a few beauties. We got a nice shipment from them. Look at that. There's a beautiful Terminator card. Some Smokey the Bear. These are some of the most beautiful setup package cards that you can get your hands. Oh, that's a sealed one. No wonder I can't open it. But this one here is one of mine from the collection. These are so sweet. So we got them for sale over on the Whatnot. We're going to be doing card auctions, Saturday morning cards, all kinds of goods the whole time. So we'll run the intro, and we'll see you in a minute. Stay Bush League, you beautiful.
Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, the place that you, with the one and only SMOOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up.
When are we making no beats again?
Trenches. Come get some work on your free time. Nico Trenches, we train O-line and D-line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you kick at 45, keep your nose on his inside. You better punch something. Keep your feet moving, dog. My 3 tech and 1 tech, they some real hoes. My DN 6'5", he ain't got no flaws.
That's a Bushleague question.
Man, he got it all.
I understand.
California, so it'd be cool for us to put up, family to come back to Canada. I always talk about my American buddies. Like, hey, you guys never get up. I can spend
To the pro.
summer up in my hometown. What do you think? This is way back home. You know, you deserve to be back at
You gotta spin. As you get around the edge, and you gotta bend. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at.
When are we making no beats
I'm
again?
in the trenches where the lineman at. Where the lineman at. Where the lineman at. D tackle be your dance.
All right. Well, here we are. We are back. I also noticed the Whatnot stream is absolutely piled up, so I'm going to fix that on the back end. But what do you expect? We're Bush League. I think it looks okay now. But how you doing tonight, Sleep? What's happening, baby? You like the draft? Good for your boys?
I don't know. You know, I'm concerned about the Steelers and their quarterback plan. You know what I mean? So we got Mason Rudolph. You're throwing all your eggs in the basket that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with us, and he's going to sign for 1 year. Like, what are we doing? What's the future in Pittsburgh at the QB position? You might as well bring Ben Roethlisberger back. Just bring him back. Find him. He's on a couch somewhere doing a podcast. Get him back under center, and maybe we'll win some games this year. Other than that, man, I don't know. I'm not stoked. That's for sure.
I love it. And I see on Whatnot, we got a Steelers fan, DMX Travis, saying he's scared for the QB situation. I mean, obviously, your Steelers were more comfortable starting Mason Rudolph than drafting Shadir Sanders, which might get into a little later in the show. But wow, hey, what a fall for him. We'll get into that in a bit. But wow.
Yeah. We definitely will get into that. You know, the Steelers, I think they had an okay draft. I'm just concerned about the quarterback position. I mean, the most important position on the team. Like, what are we doing? What is the plan here? They got to figure it out. They definitely have to figure it out. And who knows? You know, maybe they're gonna throw in some money and try to grab somebody. I don't know. It's not looking good. That's for sure. What about the Broncos? What did the Broncos do? I didn't track
Well,
the Broncos this year.
We'll get into it in a little bit, but they took RJ Harvey a little later. Good little running back prospect, and then a few other guys, which we'll dial in as we jump into that a little later. Brent, thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. And again, everybody, if you're over on Whatnot, feel free to get in on the auctions. I'm going to set up the cards there in a second. But I definitely want to deep dive into the playoffs, and then we'll pull up and go through the draft round by round. Maybe we'll take a peek at what our teams did here a little later in the show. I think everybody just had their fill of draft, but we gotta get everybody dialed in on NHL playoffs because it is absolutely electric there. Your team's up against one, right? I mean, the Stars. I would love to see them go on for your stake, but the Avs they're an animal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be scarce around here if the Stars lose this series. I'm gonna be a sad Sally for quite some time. The Stars have been leading this series for like a minute. When I mean leading any game of this series for like a minute of playtime, and that's absolutely wild. So Stars won. The Avalanche won game 1, Stars won game 2 and 3, both games in overtime, both games on third period comeback ties to come back and win in overtime. And then the Avs absolutely smoked them on Saturday here. So, I don't know. The Stars are in one. Rantanen's not playing well. I mean, he's playing okay, but he's not doing his Rantanen things in the corner. He's not getting the puck in the net. Without Miro Heiskanen on the D side and without Jason Robertson getting after it, the Stars are floundering a little bit. I'm thinking about going to the game tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to try to get some tickets. I'd like to get to one of these games. Was hoping to get to one before the end of the series. So either tomorrow or we'll see. Maybe we'll hit a game 7. That'd be kind of fun. I went last year to game 7 against Vegas in the opening round, and it was absolutely electric. American Airlines Center definitely goes off. So it's been fun.
I love it. Well, I mean, and I'm kind of jealous, right? When you say like, oh, I might just go to the game. I'm like, oh, it must be nice. But then it's like, well, you live in a city, right? I'm just in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Saskatchewan, right? So getting to a game, especially an NHL game, is not the most accessible thing. I mean, I could drive to Calgary 4 hours away or Edmonton 4 hours away, right? Where you can just be like, you know what, I want to go today, grab some tickets, hop on. Obviously, probably a little more costly this time of year in playoff season because I don't think you have the season tickets anymore, right? But
you don't. But you're right. You're right, dude.
Cool.
I used to live in a small town in northwestern Pennsylvania. So getting to Penguin games, it was a 2-hour drive. So it had to be planned. You had to plan it out in advance. Like, hey, all right, am I getting off of work early or at that age? Or are we getting off of school? Who's driving? How is it working? Before you buy the tickets. And now where I live in Dallas, it's like, well, I could decide to go to the game 30 minutes beforehand and we'll figure it out on the way. So
sorry, I pulled up a screen you weren't on.
No worries. I was just saying living here is nice. Living in a big area is nice where I can just kind of make a last minute decision, jump on StubHub on the way to the game and grab some tickets. So definitely not a bad gig. That's for sure.
Love it. And that series tied 2-2. They're going into game 5, tomorrow?
Yeah, game 5 tomorrow. Stoked, man. Stoked.
Well, I guess you're probably going to stick with your pick of the Dallas Stars. I'm sticking with the Avs going all the way. Both of us got that series going to the end. So,
yeah, I'm pretty happy about how, not that it's been even, but we're not seeing a sweep in round 1. Obviously, that's clear. The
Leafs almost had it, but nope.
Yeah, and I thought that Carolina looked good. I thought Carolina after games 1 and games 2 were just going to blow the Devils out of the water, but then the Devils got a dub. And then the Devils actually looked pretty good today against Carolina. The Devils had a crazy second period and Carolina nutted up and they shut the door and got the win. So some great hockey right now. Great hockey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before we move on to the other series, you're going to get cut out for 2 secs, 1 sec. And you're back. But we had a winner over on Whatnot. And so if you guys are watching right now, right below Sleep, there's a link over to Whatnot floating around. I'm even going to pop up the extra one up by his head there. And you can hop in. We've got our breaks going. Right now you can get in. We got 3 cards on the screen, two $3 auctions. You can pick any one of the cards, take them home. We got numbered cards, all kinds of goodies up there. And then we also got Saturday morning cards, fresh shipment right from the great curator. We got these bad boys you can get right in the store, as well as Smokey the Bear, all kinds of other goodies that we got. But I think Jeff in BC won this pack. I think we should rip it quick, and then we'll keep ripping on the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go. Hey, while you're ripping, man.
Jeff in BC, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Those Saturday morning cards are fire. That was awesome. I'm gonna have to go for that. What's the going price right now in the shop for those?
Adam Henrique, Ducks, Cole McCarr, Kalen Addison, Miles Wood, Condor Miller, Jonathan Quick, not on the Kings anymore, but that's a sweetie. Pierre-Luc Dubois, nothing too wild in that one, but either way, Jeff from BC, thank you for popping into the stream. We appreciate it a ton. Let me just write a note down or I'll forget altogether who that belongs to.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Let's when you pull back up the playoffs, I think we stay on the western side of the house and looking at St. Louis and Winnipeg, another one where St. Louis, went on a crazy run at the end of the season. And then maybe they lost their last 3 or 4 games and you didn't know what was happening. And Winnipeg came out strong in that series. But for St. Louis to tie it up 2-2, Hellebuck not looking great. His team is definitely standing up for him. We'll see what happens. But that's a series that I did not expect to go the way it's going. I expected St. Louis in 5, or I'm sorry, I expected Winnipeg in 5-ish. But right now, St. Louis is playing like this is the playoffs, just as they should.
Well, and like I said, the Broberg and Holloway pickups from Oilers are going to pay big dividends in the playoffs, and they are. And I see Jeff from BC over and whatnot saying thanks so much. No, thank you. I appreciate the support. Appreciate you coming into the show and listen to our Bushleague Takes on Sunday night. It means the world. I'll throw a little something extra in there for you too. But feel free, you guys, give it a share. We got a buyer's giveaway tonight too. Anybody that grabs anything, get a Panini's Contenders pack. And I know you mentioned what's the cost on the Street Fighter. These smoky, so the single unit cards, they come with the 1 card in them. They're $30 US, and then the dual unit cards are around $60 US. I think they might be a couple more bucks on Whatnot. We'll be able to do them a little cheaper on the Bush League Sports Store once we get that rolling, probably sometime in around June. Just on Whatnot, there's the extra fees and such that come with it. But yeah, there'll be about it's probably about $34 and $64 in the store US, whatever that is. Canada, like $90, 95, double.
Love it, dude. Yeah. We got some Dallas fans right now in the Whatnot as well, and they don't give a fuck, man. They're loving it, dude.
Yeah, they're just like they're taking it over. But yeah, they're in the shop right now. I got it pinned, so if you guys want one, let me know. You can pick a number. We'll rip them live right now. But I'm still gonna have to keep with St. Louis moving on in that series. That's who I picked, and that's who I'm sticking with.
That's who you picked. I didn't remember who you picked.
So yeah, I had St. Louis at Edmonton going face to face in round 2. So see how that works out, because it wasn't looking pretty, and we should jump over to the Oilers. It wasn't looking pretty for the Oilers if you're done with that series, but they make a big comeback. I mean, every game, lots and lots of goals, right? But Skinner let in 6, well, I guess 5, and then they let Pickard in. He let in 1, but they didn't get a lot less the next game. It was 4 goals, and they were able to get the win at least. But what a high-scoring series. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from the old LA Kings, and pretty funny to see Biz and the Spit Chicklets play into the harmonicas and everything going on in LA. It's been pretty comical for sure.
It's been fun, man. That's what playoff hockey is all about. Let's lean into what's working, and the harmonicas were working. But, one thing that we talked about before the playoffs started is Stuart Skinner capable of leading this team back to the Stanley Cup? And, I kind of thought not. And I think that he's definitely been exposed more this series. But when you have such a high flying offense like Edmonton has, anything is possible. And this is not over by any means. No. The Kings are coming to play, but Evander Kane's back out there getting weird, getting crazy in the crease, man. Edmonton must be living large right now with Kane back, just fucking driving to the net and trying to get some plays, man. It's fun to see.
He's been out for a long time, right? He's a big part of that team physically, right? And is Ekholm back? I should be paying better attention, but get their main D-man back. They switched the goalie out. Maybe we'll see Skinner come back like they did last playoffs. But I mean, he wasn't himself this whole year like he was last year. Hasn't quite been on. But all it takes is Edmonton to come back, win 2 at home. The series is evened up. Carry some momentum into LA, and it's a way different series. So as long as they can get the 2 done at home, I think that they'll continue to roll with it. But there's always got to be a little adversity, right? And you see it every time. Just lights a crazy fire under McJesus's arse, and you just wish you could get another couple players that are just ultimately talented as him and Draisaitl and Hyman, and they would push beyond, right? But
yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, the harmonica players, the what was it, the Korean, Asian harmonica, I'm not sure, but they're coming back. They're going to be there every single game until this series is done. And I love it. I love to see it. That's for sure.
Well, and I thought maybe the Oilers were going to need the ultimate boost. They got it done without, but I thought for sure we were going to have to see Oilers girl Kate come back and, whip out the jugs, motivate the boys. I mean, there's nothing that's going to motivate the boys better than a nice set of titties, right? So I thought that's what it was going to take, but they got it done without. So it's good to see. But
I'll tell you
she
what,
was the backbone of that organization last playoff round.
She'll be back. She will 100% be back. And I think that we had her almost lined up for the show here on Bush League Sports. And I know that didn't come to fruition, but maybe we can get her back logged in here.
Well, no, so she followed the show and on X before she flashed the jugs and got famous. And then when she got famous, we couldn't afford her. She's too cool now, so we can't afford her on the show. We're too poor at Bush League Sports. But, if you see this, Kate, we would love to have you on the show. We'd love to interview you. We'd love to chat. We have a couple gentlemen here, not like some of them other animals out there. But we just can't afford it, right? We're just in the middle of nowhere, Saskatchewan. We can't afford the high prices of a Playboy model.
I get it. But Kate, if you're watching, come hang out. Come hang out. Nice Sunday night with the boys. Talk a little sports. Have a beer. Have a good time.
Yeah, I love it. Well, yeah, I'll fucking 100% swap the coffee for a beer if she comes on the show. But let's see what else we got rolling in the world of playoffs. I still think the Oilers are going to keep it rolling. That's my thought, and I'm sticking to it. And then Vegas and Minnesota. And again, see Ryan Whitney's Big Chicklets giving the formal apology to Minnesota as they just storm back and get ripping. But they are a weapon. I mean, I've had a lot of their guys doing wonders for me on fantasy throughout the season. And that series, I can't even remember who I picked. Maybe I'll pull it up quick on the computer if I can figure it out. But that series, what do you got going on? Where's it going? It's split halfway down the middle right now.
Yeah, I don't know. This was another one similar to the Winnipeg one. I was expecting this series to be a 5-game series, 4-1 Vegas, but Minnesota's not going down easily, and they've played well through this whole series. So, kind of stoked. Obviously, I'm a huge Marc-Andre Fleury fan, so stoked to see him, even though on the bench, making another run at it. So I don't know. I still got Vegas to get this thing done, maybe in the next 2 games even. However, happy to see Minnesota came to play.
And I just took a peek actually. And so when we did our predictions, there was still a game or 2 left. And so St. Louis and Minnesota actually swapped. So we predicted it the opposite teams playing Winnipeg and Vegas, but whatever, man. We're Bush League Sports. We do whatever we need.
Got to do what you got to do.
Go on the airwaves and get the kids in bed and get ready for Monday. You guys got to go to work.
Exactly. I feel that.
Is it another choke for the Leafs in the first round, or can they make something happen? Like what's going on? Are the Leafs choking? What's going to happen?
Absolutely not. Leafs got this next game. Leafs got game 5 in the bag at home. This series is over. Ottawa's cooked. Happy to see them in the playoffs doing their thing. Linus Ullmark, happy to see Brady Tkachuk. However, it's just not enough. The Leafs are too high powered, man. And the Leafs top line's doing well. They're playing well. Great defensive pairings. It's just they're too strong of a team.
Nope, that's fair. And I brought it up to one of the guys at work. I was like, oh, like the Leafs, maybe they'll get to the second round like they usually do and get through it. And you could just feel the pain in him. He was like, they haven't got to the second round in 21 years. And I'm like, oh, like, you could feel it in his heart. He just knew the year. But I was always like, oh, I always thought it was the second round they played Boston. He's like, no, it's always been the first round. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, okay, I'm sorry. But, just as a guy who's probably close to my age, but I mean, that puts it back as like being like 11 or 12 since the last time his team has got past the first round. I could feel the pain in him. So Derek, if you're watching, hopefully they get her done. They should be.
It's been that long. I swear they've
Yeah.
made it past the second round in the last 5 or 6 years. That's
I don't
not
know. I mean-
to the second round. Wow. Yeah, he knows more than we do. Leaf fans, they know. They know. It's sadness. It's all sadness. So they
Yeah,
know.
or that's just a completely Bush League stat line. Who's to say? But nonetheless, appreciate it. Everybody who's watching, if you're over on Whatnot, please come hang out, give a comment, or grab some of the gear we got in the shop there. We got all kinds of cards up for sale, especially the Saturday morning cards. You can see them on the screen there. There's a box. We rip the sealed ones live, ship them out to you, or we can just ship them sealed if you want to give them as a gift, whatever you want to do. But I'm stoked to have those cards down in the shop. And you can head over to YouTube, comment live, or just watch over on Twitter and Instagram. But next series, Tampa, Florida. What do you think?
Wow. Tampa versus Florida right now is going to be absolutely insane. Game 4 is going to be, there's going to be bodies all over the ice. So in game 2, you had Hagel's hit on, was it on Reinhardt or was it on Barkov? I think it was on Barkov.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, the hit to the head. Barkov, it looked like he was going to play the puck. He didn't, and Hagel took him out. Hagel got suspended a game. 10-minute misconduct was out. Absolutely wild. And then the very next game, you have Tkachuk running it at Gensel. That was so. In my opinion, it's worse because Gensel
And it wasn't even reviewed, right?
No. Well, so he got a misconduct.
But no suspension.
No suspension. And the hit wasn't as deadly, right? The hit wasn't as crazy as the hit on Barkov, but Barkov was in a position to play the puck when Hagel went in for the hit. The hit Tkachuk placed on Gensel. Gensel made a pass in, right in the neutral zone there around center ice. And it seemed like 2 or 3 seconds later, he's blindsided by Tkachuk and sat down on the ice fairly hard.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of it though, too, you see a pitcher and you see the other pitcher and you see this and you see that. The puck going from here to there isn't 2-3 seconds. It's like a millisecond. So I give a little more credit to reality, but for sure.
Yeah, maybe, dude. I'm a Jake Gensel dick rider. So it is.
I mean, he is on your fantasy team, and you always there's no denying that a man falls in love with his fantasy roster. You have to. You gotta have a passion for the boys. But nonetheless, sorry, we're yelling. Everybody's trying to get some sleep in the sleep household, and he's yapping way too loud.
Hey, sorry, man. I might have to run.
Yeah, that's fine. If you got to roll, it's dad duty, buddy. That's Bush League Sports. We're all about dad life, and so if you got to roll, you got to roll.
I'm gonna text you, okay?
Yeah, no worries. Do what you got to do, brother.
Yeah, okay. But I'll just say real quick that that's going to be an absolutely monster series. I'm really excited to continue to watch it.
Love it. Well, no, I appreciate you, and if you want to pop back in a bit, feel free. I'll keep on rocking and rolling, baby.
All right, let me stick with it, and I'll ping you. Okay.
Peace.
All right, love it. Bye.
Love it. Well, no worries here. She's dad duty. She's a Sunday night. I sometimes have the same thing. One Sunday, kiddo's with me, so if she wakes up, it's like, oh, I gotta run. I gotta hope that Sleepy can carry the show. And every second Sunday, she's off with mom, so then I'm just free to ramble and rage. But if you're over on Whatnot, thank you guys for popping in. We got the Street Fighter Volume 2 collector cards up for sale in the store, as well as I got the Volume 1 cards here right in front of me. Let's see how close we can get that to the camera. Will it zoom in on it? Oh, I don't think we can get it quite that. Oh, there we go. The light's on it too good, but those cards are beautiful. Love them. Here, let me pull one out. These ones are the numbered to 199, I'm pretty sure. But there's all kinds of cool different cards in there. But we'll get back to the playoffs in a second. But Dad Duty sometimes calls. That's Bush League Sports. There's a couple of dads trying to have some fun around with some sports on a good old-fashioned Sunday night. But I'm going to rip through the playoffs here very quickly then. I'm going to just reset something on the stage here if I can. Let's see. Can I get that up? Okay, that's how it's going to look for a second. Unless I go into this mode. What do we got? Ooh, hold on a sec. I can edit this. Boom. And if you're listening back later, well, enjoy. But we got it all set up now. But Tampa, Florida, like you were saying, that big hit, not going to be suspended for it. I'm still thinking that the returning Stanley Cup champions are going to move on, and I don't see the Lightning having a chance on it. Then you got Washington, who went up 3-1 on Montreal. I was talking to my buddy Brian today about the Canadians. Obviously, I like to rip on all my Canadian friends. Just kind of a thing. If you're a Detroit Red Wings fan, you got to rip on the Canadians. You got to rip on the Hawks. You got to rip on everybody. But nonetheless, you see that series going 3-1. I said my prediction at the start, Bushleague or not, Ovi breaks the record. Ovi wins the cup. Ovi retires back to Russia. So I don't think Washington is going to let up off the gas pedal. The Canadians are going to get taken out. They might get one more win, but I think they'll be done in 6. And then Carolina, New Jersey. I think we all knew Carolina was going to steamroll them. And I think that one will get done in 5 games pretty soon. But for the NHL playoffs, that is that. And keep your tunes up. Keep it dialed in. I'm going to try to run the show solo. So everybody, Force Day, Richard, everybody who's chilling in over on Whatnot, thank you guys. And if you're listening in live on Twitter, YouTube, wherever, I'm rolling solo now. Co-host had to run, get up to some dad duty. So we're going to see if we can't man a show by myself. So it's a little less entertaining, but way she goes. Now I just got to be able to get the screen changed. There we go. Well, I want to get into the NFL draft. So a little different than what we thought, right? I think there was some chatter about obviously Shedeur, which we'll get into that in a bit. But a lot of guys went where we thought. A few changes. Obviously, Jaguars were sitting in the 5th spot originally, moved up to number 2. And when they moved up to number 2 to get Travis Hunter, that was I knew exactly who they were getting once we seen him move up. But first overall pick, Tennessee Titans, Cameron Ward, just a stud, came in, was basically consensus number 1 pick going into this. So you're not surprised to see it. He's going to be met with Tyler Lockett and then a couple rookies that they just brought in, as well as I think they still have Calvin Ridley. So interesting to see that one. Vic, Force Day, everybody else that's chilling in there, thank you guys for popping in on the Whatnot. Feel free to grab some cards, and we'll get ripping them in a little bit. But Travis Hunter then, as Jacksonville trades up into the 2nd spot, a stud, right? But I think the question for all of us, and then we're going to get into it here in a bit when we get into the fantasy mock draft, but I think the question for everybody is like, what's he going to play? And you've seen one of the biggest needs for the Jaguars going into this was cornerback. So I really think we're going to see Travis Hunter play a ton of defense personally, and then come in on offense with trick plays. I maybe think we're going to see him more like 70% defense of snaps, 60% in offensive snaps, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe they get him in playing more. I guess for anybody like us who's doing a dynasty rookie draft, you're just going to have to play it, because if he's primarily defense, that's going to suck unless you're in an IDP league, which nobody is. I mean, the odd person is, but no. And then if you're not, then you're going to have to hope he's playing a lot of offense, and it will be good. It's going to not be good for my Brian Thomas Jr. shares in Dynasty, but nonetheless, we will rip through and see what else. Abdul Carter, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. We got a few, right? Abdul, Will Campbell's, Mason Graham. I don't really follow the defensive end a whole lot, so I'm not the best to speak to it. If Sleep was here, he would be able to dial us in. He follows college a lot more. But then the big number 1 guy who is, I think, going to be the consensus top fantasy pick in most leagues. I think even in a 2 QB league like what ours is, that we won't be doing a mock for that, but like our Bushleague Dynasty League, I think we're going to see Ashton Gente be kind of the consensus number 1 rookie off the board in most instances. You might see Cam Ward go in a QB needy dynasty, but for the most part, Gente's for sure going to be that number 1 rookie. And then I think in any redraft, same thing, he'll be the number 1 rookie. He might even break a top 5 pick for running back. I don't think we're going to see him get placed ahead of a guy like Jamar Gibbs or Bijan Robinson, but he'll be making a case for top 5 this year, I think, too. And then Tatoria McMillan going over to the Panthers, giving Bryce Young some weapons in the 8th pick of the 1st round. Colston Loveland. Now, I thought Warren was going to be the first tight end off the board. Very surprised to see it be Colston Loveland going over to the Bears, who still have Cole Kmet. But we'll see how that works out for him. And then a few others, Mikael Williams, Tyler Booker, Kenneth Grant. And then there's our guy, Tyler Warren, who went over to the Colts, adding an offensive weapon to their squad. And then beyond that, some other names in the 1st round. You'd see Emeka Nguba going to Tampa Bay, where they got an aging core. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think Godwin kind of on the way out. Mike Evans, I think we'll see him put up at least maybe one more 1,000-yard season. He's got records to break, and I think he will break them. Jackson Dart at number 25. Now the quarterback of the Giants, moving on from the Daniel Jones era. So we'll see if he'll get starting, as early as next year. Maybe he just plays behind Russell Wilson for a year. Mr. Unlimited. And then there we go. New York Giants, Jackson Dart. Beyond that, not a lot of craziness that's going on into that offensive, which we care about for fantasy. Round 2. All kinds of goodies. There we go. Again, get your cards. They are down below. Street Fighter over on Whatnot. The link is there down at that QR code. Check it out. But here we go. Thanks to NFL.com for the stats updates. But a few guys going in the second round. Some people to look at. Tre'Verion Henderson going to the Patriots, as well as Tyler So going to Louisville with the Saints. TJ Sanders. What? Not Shadur. Some other Sanders going the 9th overall in the second round. There's all kinds of shenanigans. But one of the surprising things, I think, was the Denver Broncos. Where'd they take RJ Harvey? I can't see where he went. I'm lost now. Maybe it was at the tail end of the first round. But RJ Harvey going over to the Broncos. And then if we can queue up what I think we're going to find here in round number 5, one of the biggest falls of them all for this week's one of this week's big ones.
Say, man, you know the best part of waking up is not giving a fuck? Well, you do not. You got this special big Snoop D-O-W-G, therefore mixtape, and this is for you.
That's the one. The Bam Bam Beatdown is Shadur Sanders, draft capital, all the way from a projected top 10 pick to the 5th round. And the second quarterback drafted by the Browns. I mean, a lot to talk about there, a lot to break down. Obviously, not as entertaining when I'm trying to cue all this up by myself. Nobody to give me some comedic relief while I'm yapping away. But thank you guys that are still tuning into that. But Shadur Sanders, I mean, obviously we expected him to go much, much sooner in the draft. That did not happen. And, is it the league humbling the young fella? Is he actually not that good? I guess we're going to find out in a bit. I personally think that, I think you're going to see both opinions on it. I think it's somewhere in the middle, but I definitely think there's a little bit of the kid's attitude or his gloating and such that really contributed to it, because slipping to the 5th round is a little wild. And lean back, Vic, everybody over on Whatnot, thank you guys for joining. I'm going solo. The main man had to rip over into dad duty, which is the way she goes. But what I'm going to get going here is our fantasy draft. I'm going to cue that up. We're going to get this here taken off the stage. So give me a second. Share screen. Let's go with Sleeper. Boom. There's the draft, folks. So I'm going to see what I can pull up for a nice little screen that's going to be the best double view here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I'm not sure what's going to be the best view for YouTube here. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. Maybe I can make me a little bigger in that, and we'll roll that one. Ooh, and I'll put me over here so that you can't see. All right, one sec, folks. There we go. I think that we'll run that layout for the show. What's good? Lean back. No, not much, man. Just doing fantasy mock draft. I'm going to get that fired up like right now. I'm going to start the draft. Ryan Slider. Anybody who's in there, Sleep, Mule, anybody who's a couple guys that are there. This will rip through it fast, but we're going to see where the ADP is sitting and where the mock draft is going to take us this year and where these rookies are landing. So I'm just going to fire up the mock and have a little fun with it. I said 2-minute picks because it's going to rip through in between. So hopefully the guys will pick quick, or it'll put them on auto pick. And then from there, We will see how it all shakes out. But for myself, let's see how it cues in the back. We just got a couple of the buddies here hanging out, drafting. So me, shouts to Ryan, Sleep, and our pal Balin, probably out on a tractor. But so far, it's looking like you would expect, right? Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, CD Lamb, Bijan Robinson, St. Brown, Jefferson, Nakua, all top picks. And then from there, you're looking at who would go. Are we looking to a rookie yet? And this early in the season, I personally think Jamar Gibbs might be a guy who you would pick ahead of Barkley or Robinson, perhaps. I think that argument could be made. So to see him sitting on the board, I think that has to be considered. Wide rights, Nico Collins. He's got a little competition for snaps. Yeah, you need a Brian Thomas Jr. Jags. That's who I got him on my dynasty roster. And if anybody's wondering, that's my pal Leanback commenting over on the whatnot. But I got him as my dynasty wide right. I'm stoked on that. You'll have to get in on the drafts with us this year, Lean. I'd be stoked to have you join us. We'll be launching the platform very soon. But I think I'm going to make my pick so the draft can roll on. I didn't mean to click on the player. And sorry, it's going to be not this. The content's not going to be as entertaining as always because it's hard to do it by yourself. Usually it's a conversation piece, but nonetheless, we rip, we fly. So maybe I need a couple of co-hosts so that maybe, just in case one of the dads is busy, then we have a few folks here chilling. I don't know why this isn't loading, but if it could just stop and let me pick, that'd be great. There we go. Jamar Gibbs, Nico Collins. Malik Neighbors is a pick that one would see early. There we see Brian Thomas Jr. go to Mule. Must have heard us chatting. But yeah, you'll have to get in on Lean. We're going to be doing draft and rips here coming soon in the next couple months. You'll be able to get in on drafts. We'll fill them on the website. And then we'll have 12 of us in the league drafting. I'll be ripping cards while we're doing it. The card rips will be determined based off the draft order, which we'll randomize when we go into the draft. And going to have a lot of fun doing that. Just for like 2-3 months before NFL season, we'll be doing draft and rips every weekend. So looking forward to that. So those, Lean, you said, how do you buy in? So I tried doing it through Whatnot, but it's too slow going. And so it's not going to work. So once my website is rolling in June or July, I'll make sure I send you over a link. But it's going to be pretty simple. You're going to go into our website. Let me pop up onto the big screen here for a second. But you're going to be able to go into our website. You'll be able to have points. Points are bought either through cash, through crypto, or through holding some of our digital tokens or buying memberships. And then basically it's pretty simple. You go in, there's drafts, there's rips, just like Whatnot. And then there's also collectibles. You use those points to enter. So they'll be simple. Draft, click, spend 20 points, enter the draft. And it'll send you a link to one of the sleeper leagues. That league will go live on the show one of the nights. You'll get a link to that. It'll all be in it. It'll be 1 or 2 clicks, and it'll all be pretty self-explanatory. But you'll be able to click. It'll send you the link to the sleeper league. You'll actually get a link to the show. If you want to come join the show, everybody will be able to sit around the draft board, chat, and BS, and then we'll rip cards throughout it. And at the end of the year, whoever wins the fantasy draft will actually get to take home a hobby box or whatever we might be giving out for that particular league. So looking forward to that. But I'm going to make my pick here. Geez, do I take another running back? You know what? I don't think he should be sliding. I'm going to contribute to his ADP going up. They say he's back. He's healthy. It's hard to turn away CMC. So to see him sliding a little later is quite interesting because he's a very good player and a guy who's held fantasy teams together for quite a while. We see one of the auto drafts take Josh Allen in there. But lean back. I hope that makes sense. And if it does, send me a thumbs up or one of your famous bourbon drinks. I love it. But once the website's live, you'll be able to go in, see the system, use points, and then basically whoever wins the league, they'll get 100, 200 points, whatever it might be at the end of the season, and be able to spend that on more rips, more collectibles. So the whole system is just a way to play fantasy, meet new fantasy friends, kind of have a cool, fun community, and redeem it for collectibles. So the whole idea is collectibles, fantasy sports. One of the best, I think, integrations of the two, because what better place is there for people interested in sports collectibles than the degenerates playing fantasy sports? Love it, Ray, who appreciate. Oh, you're not set as a mod for this one. You should be, but we appreciate you. Anybody tuning in on the other shows, we're just mock drafting them. I don't know what our man's doing there. He'll be auto drafting in a second here, so it'll flip him to auto draft. But Bucky Irvin, Jackson Smith, and Jiba, I traded him in Dynasty. He's going to be probably a top 10 prospect. And yeah, the camper draft was legendary, Rehu. For anybody who's just watching in on the show, we are live on Whatnot right now. So we got a few people chatting over there if you're wondering who I'm talking to. There's live on the Whatnot stream. We got the Saturday morning cards. And Rehu and Lean, if you're still in there, Lean, the Saturday morning cards, they're chilling. There's some pretty cool collectibles. I know you're a big UFC guy, so the Street Fighter might be something you're into. They're pretty cool. Whenever this auto picks 10 seconds, we'll get this thing moving. Ryan, thank you for popping in. Ryan got access to the draft through our Bush League Discord. He holds one of our vending tokens. Those are the people that I will be giving the most rewards to kickback from this fantasy platform. So thank you for coming, hanging out, and getting the QB run going in the third round, taking Lamar Jackson. I like it. I got nothing against it. I just always really like waiting. So if it's me in a draft, and I know it's way too early for an NFL draft, but you gotta get those reps in, get her locked in. But I like taking a quarterback way later. I think there's a lot of talent that can be grabbed later in the draft. And there's just so many players and so little room for error in some of those positions like running back that I really personally like taking one later. But let's see who's available in the draft right now. So we got Garrett Wilson sitting there late into the third round. Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown running back for Cincinnati. So let's see. Where's some of the rookies showing up on the draft board right now? Do we see like Tatorian or any of them come into the mix? I'm not sure. Oh, no, that's Jalen McMillan. There we go. There's the first one that's going to show up in the ADP. Tatorian McMillan down at 131. Obviously, I don't think we're going to take him this early, but there is going to be a couple rookies that are going to be a breakout. So it's not going to hurt to take a flyer on a few guys as we go. But I think we will just take Garrett Wilson as our first wide right, unless anybody in the chat thinks we should be ripping someone else. Jonathan Taylor, maybe Chase Brown. Or do we do it? You know what? It's going to go all the way there and back. We're doing it. I'm getting Ashton Gente off the board in the third round. You've seen it here. So I don't think that's a bad pick either, because I mean it's going to be Jonathan Taylor, or it's going to be Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson. I think Devontae Adams is aging, a guy who I'm moving back a little later in my drafts this year, no question. But I actually think Ashton Gente looks really good there in the third round. And I honestly think you'll see an argument for him to go much earlier than that. And I think as we get closer to draft season, you're going to get Gente later. And that's why I like doing best balls early in the season. Obviously, right now, we're just doing a mock draft. But one of the reasons I like getting into best balls early is if you're someone like me or someone who watches this show and takes in the information from it, you are able to get like a big advantage, right? Because I don't think you're getting Ashton Gente in the third round come September or August. There's just no way. And so there's a huge advantage to being able to come in, do some early best balls and put money on it if you're studied up on the game like this, right? So that's something that is always fun to partake in and to get on early, because if you're in dynasty leagues, you're kind of watching it all the time. So you have that edge. Put some money on it, go get on it. So that's what we'll be doing early in the season. Not so much this year. We're not going to be able to get her going until probably July with the Bush League Sports website. But for years to come after that, we're just going to get it rolling early. Get these best balls rolling out the gate early in the season, and you can get some of these stud picks later. Because, again, there's just no way. And as we see where Travis Hunter is going to go, et cetera, well, that's going to change where his draft round is going to go. So just a big advantage to drafting early, I personally think. But let's see what we got. Cortland Sutton and the Broncos. DK Metcalf over in Pittsburgh. Waddle. I'm going to need a receiver at some point. Tight end. I could lock up tight end too, which would be an interesting move, and it might not be the worst thing I ever do. We got James Cook sitting there. Kamara, Chubb Hubbard. Oh, there's a man. See, and the thing about running backs too is they thin out a little later too. But I always feel like there's a depth of wide right. I just really always feel like that. I do kind of want to get those guys like St. Brown, Chase, or Jefferson if I can. But if I really don't get one of those top like 5 guys, I'll wait like a long, long time, which is kind of what we're doing here. But I think we're going to go and take who I think is the best player on the board right now. That's George Kittle. And TJ Hawkinson went right after. So probably not a bad pick. It's all about building your team and building where you think you need and getting the guys on your roster that you're most interested in having in those spots, right? So from there, the auto pick rolls through James Cook, Olave, Sutton, Waddle, Metcalf. So Metcalf is a pick I would have taken. Didn't quite make it back to me. That's a receiver I definitely would have locked up coming into this, I guess, 5th round now. But we did see a lot of those running backs go too that I thought would be guys I might want to have on my team. But now looking at the way it played out and seeing that Sam Laporta is there, and this is why I like doing the drafts, like getting the reps in, I probably should have taken one of those running backs, one of those wide rights, and then Sam Laporta probably sitting there. He's definitely more likely to be sitting there if George Kittle was a pick that someone else could have taken too. So pretty good way to judge how you're going to draft when you get into the real thing with the boys, when the money's on the line later in the season, or the girls. We have quite a few ladies actually that draft in the Bush League fantasy drafts, and you love to see it. So can't be leaving them out. Shouts to Holly and a few others. Melly, appreciate you. They've been there since like the start of it, so it's pretty sweet. But I got 57 seconds left on the clock to get a pick in. So there it is. Sam Laporta is just sitting there chilling. I would take him probably if this was a real league, but it's a mock, so we don't want to seem too Bush League live on the air here. And see, when you see this too in a league, I'm going to be honest, as much as I need a wide right very, very badly, it's hard for me to walk away from Montgomery, who can in himself be a top 10, 15 guy when I have Jamar Gibbs. You already got Gibbs sitting in there. Picked him round 1. We're just going to handcuff Montgomery. I do that in all my leagues. It's what I would do. It's what I would advise in a league. And so that's what we're doing here live. And then I think we're for sure taking a wide right, unless Omari and Hampton's there. Then we're going to take another running back. And you guys are going to be like, is this guy ever taking a wide receiver? And then don't forget, live on the store, Saturday morning cards. We're going to rip any that have been bought throughout the show right after over live on Whatnot. And thank you guys, anybody who is on Whatnot, for tuning in throughout the show. Mule, you're not live on the air. You're not talking. So just pick, No, I'm just razzing. Do whatever. I appreciate you coming. Appreciate you drafting. One of my best buddies and biggest supporters. So thank you. It means a ton to come in and rip. I know he's watching the Oilers play their game right now. But that's a pick that I like. Sam Laporta, I don't know if he's watching or not, but that's a beautiful pick. And that's a guy I would have liked to have probably a round later. But that said, now you see it there too. If I don't take it in that round, I take a different player. I take Laporta. Well, now I can't get Montgomery, or I have to take Montgomery. Now I miss out on the tight ends entirely. So those are all the decisions you can weigh through by doing a bunch of mock drafts. And again, for me, usually just like doing best balls, put the money on the line. You're not drafting against a whole bunch of computers, and you get a real feel for how others are going to draft. So best balls to me are a big thing I enjoy. But let's go and get me a wide right. And honestly, I see a few guys sitting there, but Jerry Jeudy exploded last year into a top 12 role, which is a wide right 1 in fantasy. And I honestly expect him to continue going this year. Cleveland has like 5 quarterbacks, so you think somebody's going to be able to do something, I hope. But no matter what, I think he's going to be a focal point in the offense. So I'm going to lock Jerry Jeudy up. No, I don't want that. I just want Jerry Jeudy on the roster. There we go. Then you see Najee Harris going a little later. He's splitting carries with Hampton, who was taken just before by Mule. I'm sure he would have loved to see him come back around and get into the thing. Oh, how do I set this guy up to auto draft? Oh, it's click something on there. I see. There we go. We set sleep to auto pick because I don't see him in the draft. Myers and Dunze. So we see Worthy and Pickens going a little later. Ayuk's a guy who is, again, a top player. He could probably take a chance on. We see Calvin Ridley sitting up at the top of there, going to be one of the more experienced players catching balls from Cam Ward this year. But let's see who we got through. See how wide right is actually thinning out a little sooner than I would have liked to see it thin out. The guy might just have to start taking whatever. We'll take Ridley. Not who I would normally pick, but wide right run with a rookie QB. He'll probably be getting the rock a ton. So love to see it. Travis Etienne. There's another kid named Travis Etienne that was drafted into league this year. That'll confuse the hell out of everybody. Jared Goff, a nice pick, stacking that with Sam Laporta. Mule's probably one of the more experienced drafters in this room, considering he's the only other drafter in the room that's, I guess actually the computer is probably way more experienced than us that just sits there and drafts against the whole world all day. But nonetheless, me and Mule, probably, two of the most degenerate drafters out there. But it's a beautiful stack getting the Laporta Goff late. And speaking of which, I'm going to look and see what quarterbacks are just sitting around there. Oh, yeah, Trevor Lawrence we could get late. It could be J.J. McCarthy year. Jordan Love still sitting there. So lots of different stuff to look at, but see where those rookies come into play a little later in this mock draft. So now what are we looking to do? Basically complete the team. So in the 8th round, could look to a quarterback. Going to probably just be looking to who is like the best player on the board. Njoku sitting there in 8th. That's a guy that you could make the argument for skipping all the other tight ends ahead of it, to be honest, and taking him over. Maybe we don't get Jerry Jeudy because you have some of the other wide receivers ahead, and perhaps looking at taking David Njoku in a spot like that. But Jordan Love, good quarterback. Bo Nix, good quarterback. I'm going to take Bo Nix just for the sake of being actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to stick to waiting a long time to get a running back or quarterback. Sorry, guys. Let's go with let's take a rookie. Torian McMillan, Carolina. I think that's the first rookie wide right off the board. Hold on a second. Where is he? Oh, yeah. So where's Hunter? Where's Travis Hunter? We're going to pick him next. We're going to put him in the queue. 199. Okay. Oh, and speaking of Hunter Renfro, good thing that sleeper, Schultz, the sleeper, queuing me up some content. Hunter Renfro back signed after taking a year off with the Raiders. So he obviously just seen Ashton Gente and thought, wow, this team's going to be something. I'm coming back. So there we go. Hunter Renfro back in the mix. Let's see where we got McMillan, Cup, Ingram, Pittman. See, the only other thing about having a guy like me doing these mocks and stuff this early in the season is I'm going to give away who all the good studs are because I'm going to move them way up the ADP by picking them. But let's go into our queue here. Travis Hunter, grabbing him in the 9th round. So that's the first time. So in this round, we see Ashton Gente going in the 3rd, Travis Hunter going in the 9th. Again, values I don't think you're going to see come 2, 3, 4 months from now. I just really don't think you're going to see that. So anybody on Whatnot, thank you guys for popping in, grabbing some of the Street Fighter cards. Appreciate it. Mule with the Craft, Kincaid, and let's see who I'm going to get going on my squad here. Ooh, there's a QB. Dak just sitting there. Tua sitting there. Trevor Lawrence sitting there. Richardson sitting there. Everybody's just chilling. Dak could be like a top guy again, too. I mean, that's kind of crazy to see him just sitting around like that. I think we might just have to take Dak as QB1 in round 10. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. Purcell, we see Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper going in. So stuff like that is the stuff that's 100% going to be changing over the next bit, right? because you're going to see Keenan Allen, Cooper. Well, they're not even signed to a team. So a lot of these rookies are going to start going well ahead of these guys here. Let's auto pick. Keenan Coleman, that's a good pick too, because he could be moving up the depth chart in Buffalo in his second year. Had an injury last year, really set back where he went, but hopefully seeing some good stuff come out of him. We'll get RJ Harvey on the squad late in the draft. Judkins going over to Cleveland along with Jerome Ford. Blake Corum going over there, wide right. So Rashid Shaheed, injured last year, sitting way down in the depth chart again. I think that's a stellar pick late in the 12th. So we'll start them up on the roster. So now we got it. Jerry Jeudy, Ridley, McMillan, Travis Hunter, Shaheed. I mean, now we're not looking bad at all, right? Now we're moving right along with a pretty studly team. We got three running backs that are RB1. And then a handcuff to one of them. I don't think you can really cry about that. Dak Prescott in the mix. A couple of young rookies, as well as Shaheed, who proved himself last year, just ended up injured. And we see our boy Sleep is back, so we'll let him make the pick. Tyler Ward also going to Team 1, which I kind of forgot about him while we're in this draft. I have everybody queued up in my Dynasty mock rookie draft, but Tyler Warren going in the 13th round again. He could be a top 5 guy. So we're probably going to see him for sure going ahead of almost all these guys you can see in the screen here of Ferguson, Kraft, Kincaid, Henry, Pitts, Freeman, Goddard, Ingram, Njoku, Smith. Maybe not Kels. That's about the line. So I think you're going to see him going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably tight end 6-ish for Tyler Warren there. And with that said, I think we will see who's the tight end that went to Chicago. I forget. I wish I knew, because that's who I should be taking, is the tight end that went to Chicago. Running back, though, let's see who else we got that's going to be coming in. Nick Chubb working his way back from injury. That could be a good sleeper pick, because if he signs with a team that's, still kind of a needy, that could be sneaky. Cam Skadebo is there. What about Tyrone Tracy? Is he selected? Did someone take Tracy? Yeah, they did. Tyrone Tracy's a good pick, though. New York Giants, I like him. I think he'll be impressive this year. But let's go with Caleb Johnson. That's our rookie for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's who we're going to put on the roster in the 13th round. And all these guys will be moving way up the ADP over the next few months. So what you can take from this mock draft is get into some best balls, start drafting these guys while they're dirt cheap. Just load up the back end of your roster with all these guys. And then as the season progresses closer, you might find you have a pot of money just sitting there from all these early drafts. Or you'll lose it all. Very good chance you lose it all. Most likely you lose it all. So don't take that advice. But 2 more rounds, 2 more picks. We're not taking a kicker defense. We got no time for that. It's a freaking mock draft. We're going to take Cam Skadebo. Our whole goal now is just to drive ADP of these rookies up. Screw over everybody. If you're not watching the show, too bad. Watch and learn. Ooh, we got a comment. We never get none of them. What is it? Is Shadur still on the board? Brandon Hallam, you know it, buddy. You know it. And just because you said that, Shadur is still on the board. We didn't take him. I'm going to take him now. I am going to take him. He's still on the board, Brandon. And thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it a ton. Means the absolute world. We got what? Well, we got 27 viewers on YouTube or whatever it is. We're rolling. We got a couple in there tonight. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. But Shadur's still sitting there and sleepy. If he's not watching, hopefully he's not watching. He doesn't take him. But that's who I'm taking. He's going to be our sleeper pick. Oh, no, maybe I'm fried. Maybe someone did take him. No, I don't see him gone. I don't know why I don't see him in the Q, the player Q. Well, he's still on the board for sure, Brandon, but I don't know why I don't see him in here because he wasn't selected, but it's not going to let me take him. Is he like, did he like blacklist himself from fantasy drafts? I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah, he's not there. Oh, and everybody, defense. Everybody's kicker and defensing. That's the way to do it, though, if you're doing the actual draft. But I don't know where Shadir Sander is, but I want to drive his fantasy stock all the way up. Oh, it's because I'm searching under that. No wonder. Shadir Sanders. Boom! Shadir Sanders in the final round. But honestly, what's he going to do? He's QB5 in Cleveland. Like, is he gonna do anything? I don't know. But there he is. Shadir Sanders, QB5. In round 50, you're not getting that in August. He's either getting not drafted at all or he's going to be like QB4 off the board. Who's to say? But that is an absolute. Convert your draft into a sleeper league. Yeah, I should. I should make everybody who drafted this play it all year. Oh, my team's unreal. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a good draft. So let's recap. Let's recap what the boys did here. So we're going to recap Mule. I'm going to drop this down. We're going to recap Mule. Can I get his? Oh, you know what? We're going to have to get technical here. I'm going to move me out of the way. We can't see me. I'm in Mule's wheelhouse. There we go. Look at me. Now I'm in the middle. Advanced technology here, Bushleague Sports. So, Mule, early fantasy draft. Let's see what he's got going. Brian Thomas Jr., naturally, he would get one of the top guys on my dynasty roster. It's just pure envy. A.J. Brown, stud. So just stacking the wide rights right out the gate. Never have to question who you're starting every week. Jonathan Taylor, Rashee Rice, Omarion Hampton. So it's a great stack. You're starting both of your wide rights, both of your running backs, and you got a flex with your first 5 picks. Sam Laporta, Goff, basically completing the whole team right through those first 7 rounds. So no real complaints about that at all. Obviously, be cool to try and get Najee Harris in a good setting if you can to back up Hampton, which he went not that long later, so that wouldn't have been that easy in this draft. But Deebo Samuel, another solid pick, and then Burden later in Chicago to go with the fingernail man. It's a good set of wide rights. Henderson, Judkins, Esteem. I don't know about Esteem in Denver, but maybe I think it's going to be Harvey, who I took maybe that round or later. I'm not sure. And then Benson is a good pick as well as a backup. So I like that pick. Justin Fields, a pure talent. Ooh, that's actually a filthy pick in the last round, Justin Fields, because he's starting this year. And I've always liked Justin Fields. And I think he's going to be a great quarterback, the best that franchise has had in a while. So looking forward to that. But that's a good all-around draft by the Mules. So love to see it. Let's go over see what our boy Sleep picked up here. He was mostly auto-drafting, but nonetheless, Barkley, love it. It's a great pick. You can never go wrong with that at number 2. McBride, bold. Nothing wrong with the pick. I just don't think I would ever take a tight end that early in a draft either. Really, those first 2 rounds is wide receiver, running back to me. 3rd round, you might see me push a tight end or something, but not often. And McLaurin, great pick with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Mixon, Pacheco. So starting Barkley and Mixon, great combo to start at running back. McLaurin, Myers, Cup, Diggs. There he is taking his dynasty wide right in Cup. So that's beautiful. But the dude's old. Can't believe you traded for him in dynasty. I mean, he's retiring like in a week or 2. Diggs, Dobbs, love to see it. And then Eckler. So just whatever, mock. You love to see it. Again, I know he wasn't there for half it, so we can't put it all on him. And then I got to move me so you can see D yet again. Oh, that's perfect. It pulled me right out of the studio. So we're back. Sorry for that, but that's just what we needed. We're going to get the stream back going here in a second. Woo! We did it with not too much difficulty. We got taken right off the air there. But there's my squad. I guess it's the way it is. It doesn't really want to show you it all that badly. But we just went running back crazy out the gate. Gibbs, McCaffrey, and getting McCaffrey in round 2, I think it's nuts. Gente in round 3, I don't think it's going to happen for 2 months down the road from now. Right now, again, just early pickings if you're best balling against people that don't know what they're doing. And then Montgomery to back up Gibbs, Kittle. So you're sitting there going, what are you going to do with that lineup, right? But I think we closed it out not too bad with Judy, Ridley, McMillan, who should be probably one of the top guys, if not for sure the top guy in Carolina. Hunter, who can be a stud for the old Jacksonville, which, again, Mule got Brian Thomas Jr., who I think that offense will run through. And then Shaheed is an absolute weapon who was going like 20 points a game until he got injured, I think week 4 or 5 last year. And then a bunch of rookie flyers and getting Shadur Sanders in the final round. Love to see it. But that's a 15-round sleeper rookie draft. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to the couple boys who took part. Appreciate that. It's been a fun little one. Let me pop this up here. Boom, there's me. But we're going to hop over into Whatnot now for the next little bit. So thank you to anybody who tuned in, watched, and hung out with us. We're going to get some of the new Saturday morning cards that we got in the store over there. We're going to get ripping some packs, ripping some different boxes open. And again, check out this product, Saturday morning cards. Stoked to have it in the store. Stoked to have it in the Bushleague Rewards coming soon. Collect what you love. That's our Series 1, Volume 1, Saturday morning cards. Guile versus Zangief. So I think before we wrap the show, and Brunsky, if anybody's in here, I think I'm going to rip one for myself because I really want one. I've wanted to get my hands on one of these Volume 2s for a bit. I have a few pretty cool Volume 1s, and I'm stoked on that. That's one of mine that I showed you there. I got a gold that I've pulled as well. But I think what we're going to do, and if you're in Whatnot, you can watch her on the top. We're going to move over and do it over here. Hopefully I can cut it with this knife. These things are hard to cut. But here we have a sealed Volume 2. So shouts to the great curator, Saturday morning cards. I'm excited to see what we pull. This is mine out of the case, limited edition, Series 2. I'm going to crack this seal, hopefully without cutting myself. I need to get a better knife. Maybe Mint Ink can supply me with an X-Acto. We're Bushleague here. We don't have one, but we got her through. So here you go. Saturday morning cards, Volume 2. You can head to their website, get them, or check out our Whatnot. We got them live in the store. Callaway, Josh Brunchke, thanks for popping in the stream. But here we go. You're going to be the first to see it. Collect what you love. This is my Volume 2. I'm stoked for it. I think it's Ryu Saget. Boom. Yep. Love it. This is so sick. So Ryu Saget. And you get this fight card. So cool. That covers up the card. It's kind of your little break. If you're breaking and opening, that gets to hide it. And let's see what we get. Boom! I can't see it, but oh, that looks like those are the ice. Are they the ice? Yep. These are the ice. So the 199. Saget, 199. Look at those. Those are beautiful. Got the fighter right up on the back. 199. There's the Ryu. Hadouken! 134, 199. Hadouken! So sick. Oh, the camera's got to zoom back in. So sick, though. What a sweet product. And Fry, Coway, thank you to anybody that tuned in. If you guys want some of these, we're going to be ripping them over on Whatnot. But as always, it's been a great show. Sometimes, dad life, you got to run. So hopefully everything's well in old Sleep's world there. But we had fun. It was our first way too early mock draft. Got in some of the rookies, where they're going. If you tune in next week, we're going to be doing the Bushleague Sports 6th Annual Dynasty League Draft. So looking forward to that. It's going to be super fun. not all the boys will be there. Some will be live on video with me. Hopefully all the boys will be there drafting their team because they have to hold on to it for the next ever. So I think we'll see a full draft board. But looking forward to hopefully having 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 6 or 7 of the boys join me next Sunday. It's going to be fun. We're going to have some beers. We're going to draft. We're going to talk about the future of our franchises, lip the shit out of each other, and have a good old laugh. So I look forward to that. Also, just seeing we got a comment coming in there. Kayla Jackson, thank you for watching. As always, you little sweet thing, you. I appreciate it. And that's a sweet one for everybody who's watching. Zangief and Gato. Now we got Ryu and Saget. So stoked on Volume 2. Can't wait to see what is entailed in Volume 3. Not sure what characters I'll be releasing. But if you want any of those, hop over into the store or look forward to Draft, Rip, Collect season where you'll be able to get in on fantasy drafts, rip some sports cards or some of these boxes, and then win some cool prizes at the end of the year. So look forward to that. But thank you all for tuning in, as always, to Bush League Sports, episode 58, the way too early mock draft. It's been a fun one. We're going to roll a little something to end the show. Where is it? Outro? Do we got an outro? I don't know if we do. I think we do. We used to. Maybe we don't have one anymore, but this show used to have an outro. Nonetheless, thank you guys for sticking around this long. We're going to roll over onto Whatnot. So hop in there. We'll be breaking some boxes, having a good old time for the rest of the evening. So until then, hope you guys have a great one. Come back next week. Tune in with the boys. We'll be on all the platforms drafting the 6th annual Bush League Fantasy Draft. See what happens. Who falls like Shadur? Who's to say? But until next week, stay Bush League, you beauties. Always a great time. Take care.
From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. Tell them never question, dog, I'm sitting goat status. Eating chicken with my gin, smoking on some cabbage. Just the pedal on this
moment where you skate down the street and some shit for brain yells out of his window. Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip!
And house shoes, they know how the dog do. Skinny, heavy pockets, the West OG. Came across the globe, say they don't know me. Been applying pressure from 8 to 24 like Kobe. Mr. Hall of Fame used to bend the corners with strollies. Had to lay the blueprint, they rolled out the carpet. Anything I wanna own, I got my own.
Put together like a little fitness promo with the Dr. Bombay certain song.
Still ain't sold my guns and I still ain't had to use them though.
Well, of course, I'm good to meet you, man. I know there's a man behind that mask with such a suit, man. I appreciate it. You guys are sick, man. I appreciate I collected all your shit, man. I love you. Don't do a drug, but you do this shit with me. Don't actually lie, no man.
All right, guys, Joel Mills here with the Bam Bam Boxing Academy. Now, these 14 workouts are specifically made to take you from simple mechanics all the way to a full fighter by the end of the 14 workouts.
Oh, so they don't ask questions.
This is some straight. Hey.
This is, oh gosh.
I got thin to smoke it.
Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. I can't name a thing that I didn't have step. From the streets to movie screens, been getting bangs and checks. Get the solid, you won't hit me with no bad rep. Legendary Crippin' made it happen, and that's on the set. Still rolling on gold things, I'm a boss.
Go get it. What the fuck you waiting on, man? Let's go.
Blaming on my mom from all the crippin' I see. Blaming on my grip, all the hustling.
Yes, sir.
Can you smoke one through that mask, big dog?
He got his own club. It's lit, too. And they was curious. Dr. Bombay, can you sign this one, too? I just showed Dr. Bombay how to write. He been in the jungle. Nigga can write. He can't talk, but motherfucking write. I showed him something. Look at it. Go ahead. Find your spot, Bombay. Remember how I told you? Yeah, there you go right there. Yeah, remember that? D R B. Spell it out. Sound it out. Bay. CEO.
That's one hell. That's some good weed. Is that your weed? Is that the Snoop Dogg weed?
That's some shit that we got when we was out here.
Oh, that's some good. That's our shit. Okay, I like it. I like it.
Well, that's Canada's finest, baby. They bring me the best from the CA.
I fucking don't expect any less.
I love it. Once again, scratch that off your bucket list. Come hang out with your favorite dog. How much is that dog in the window? Ask somebody.